Hi all. I want to do some Excel programming. This will just be a simple introduction to give you a general idea of what Excel programming is, and then we'll start off with a few simple examples in the next video, and maybe we'll pick a book and work through a book. So we'll see how it goes. So I just thought we'd do a few simple ones here, just to kind of explain what it's all about. So we'll start up Excel here, and you can see here I have a developer tab. So your Excel probably doesn't have that. If you go to options, you can turn the developer tab off and on. So see, if I uncheck that, then that developer tab is gone. So this is version Office 2007 here. So click on the big button there, come down to Excel options, click on Show Developer tab, and click the OK button, and now we have the Developer tab here. I picked up some screenshots of what it looks like in 2010, and I haven't seen 2016 yet. I'm hoping it's the same here. So in 2010, go to the File menu here. This first tab, that's supposed to take place of the File menu. They call it the Backstage view now. And here's your options. Click on your options. Okay. Then that should pop up this thing here. Yours will say Excel options here. You'll get this options box. From what I remember, I've taught 2010, but I just don't have it here at home. So you're looking for this here, customize ribbon, and then here main tabs. You might have to select your down arrow here, and you're looking for this box here. You need to put a check mark here. So you can see they kind of got this hidden inside the system. They don't want you to turn it on by accident if you don't know what you're doing. So you can see in 2007 it was real easy to turn on. It was one of the very first items. Here it's kind of stuck down inside, and you really got to know what you're doing to go inside the Excel options and turn it on. So, and I'm thinking 2016 is probably the same way, or something real similar. This next picture is the same thing. It's just enlarged so you can see it better. So you need to put a check mark by the developer item, and then you'll get the developer tab. And what we're mainly looking for is this thing here: Visual Basic, macros. We'll use the whole thing, but this is how you know you're looking at the developer tab, because you have a developer tab here and you're looking for these. Okay, so that's that might be a little tricky to find. So that's why I figure its first video we'll take it real slow. Okay, so these are just a couple silly examples. Don't worry about the code. I just want you to I just want you to see a few things. So let's see here. Just for a simple example, hopefully you've done some macro recording. With most programming videos and tutorials, especially with Office, they start out with macros. Okay, so like here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's no magic there, right? Okay, now we're gonna write an Excel program to add these up. Okay, we go to the developer tab here, and then on here we've got all these little graphical things that we can add to the screen. This first one here is a button. See, if you hover over that, it says button. So click on the button, and then you can see your cursor changes to an X now, because it's waiting for you to do something with that button. Okay, so then just left click and hold and drag out the size of your button, and then when you release the mouse, you'll get this pop up here. Okay, now what's going on there is saying, hey, you created a button, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to assign a macro that you already created? You know, we don't have any macros in this list here. This is an empty list here. Do you want to create a new one? Do you want to do you want to record a macro? Okay. For this one, we'll go ahead and record one. So we'll click the record button. Okay, now it's saying you want to record a macro. What do you want to name it? Okay, that's the default name. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. You know, later on when you start writing your own, you can always change it. You know, give it some type of meaningful name. You know, adding up row A. You know, something. You know. Okay. You can add a control key and stuff like that too. But we'll worry about that later on. I want to keep this as simple as possible. And then click the OK. Now you can see your cursor changes into that plus sign. It's waiting for us to record the macro. Okay, first thing I want to do is click on this item here. Use relative references. Hopefully you understand what the relative means. You know, there's relative references and absolute references. Later on, I'll do some beginner Excel videos. So if I'm losing you there, don't worry about it. We'll come back and do some basic ones later on. We'll be able to get you up to speed pretty quick. So, okay, now we have to type in what we want it to record in the macro. So we'll click on this cell and we'll go equal, right? Equal means we're going to record a formula. We're going to add up those three cells. So we'll go A1 plus A2 plus A3. Okay? And then we'll hit the enter key. Okay, so it added up those three cells, put the total there. So we're done creating our macro. So then we can click stop recording. Okay? So that's all there is to it. So if we come here and click on this button here, we can see now in our macro box, it was empty, right? Now we have one macro that we created, and it's already attached to this button. That's very important. This macro is already attached. So just to take a look at the code here, you know, what that did, see how it opened up another app here? It opened up Visual Basic for applications, VBA. It's basically Visual Basic, you know. So you can see here, this code here is really cryptic. Don't let this stuff scare you. You know, that line there is really cryptic. Okay? We'll come back later and explain it. Right now, that's not what we're after. I just want to do a brief introduction to what this stuff is. Okay? But that's what we created when we recorded the macro. Okay, so there's really two ways to get to that. If you click here, there's the macro. You can click edit. Or you can just click this guy here and it'll open back up here. Okay, so, you know, just to show you what you can do with this, like let's say we have some other numbers here. Okay, so you can click this cell and click this button, and you can see it added these up: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So on. Okay, so we wrote it. We wrote our formula here and recorded it into a macro, and then we used it to fill in these other cells, and it was able to change the cell addresses because they were relative references. Hopefully that line makes sense to you. If we go back to the formula tab and click on Show Formulas, you can see here it changed it from all A's to B's to C's to D's. Okay, you could do the same thing with just dragging that one over, but like I said, this is just a real silly example just to give you an idea of what you can do with these things here. Okay, so that's the first one. Don't let that scare you away. You know, we're not going to start with hard examples like that. We're going to start off with examples that are a lot easier. So that's really as simple as I can make that, though. But we'll start out with some regular Visual Basic. See, this here, when we click on this and we open up Visual Basic here, it's Excel programming, but it's based on Visual Basic. Okay, what Microsoft does is they have numerous computer programming languages that they use to write their applications. There's Visual Basic, C++ is another one, C# is another one. So Visual Basic is the easiest one, and these days they're all basically the same. They're the same power, kinda. You know, how powerful is a language? They're all kind of the same now. You'll find people say, "Oh no, this one's more powerful than this one. This one's more powerful." Yeah. You know, they're all basically the same. But built into Microsoft Office is Visual Basic for Applications, VBA. See, there's Visual Basic, that's just your straight programming language, and then there's VBA, Visual Basic for Applications. So this here, it's Visual Basic, but because it's inside Office, Microsoft Office is their applications, right? Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so on. Those are the applications. So this is Visual Basic for Applications, VBA. Okay. Now for this second example, let's do something a little different. Let's go to the Developer tab, grab a button, draw our button out. Now it's saying, do you want to assign a macro to that button? Yes. You want to record one, or you just want to create one? The first time we click the record button. This time we'll just say, okay, just create a new one. Okay, so you can see it opened up Visual Basic for Applications and created a piece of paper where we can write our code. And this here is what they call a function. This is the start of the function. This is the end of the function. Whatever we write inside here That's what this button will do. When we click on this button, it's gonna do something. Okay? So I've got some silly examples here. Usually the code inside a function is indented, say 4 or 5 spaces. That's a personal preference. There's no right or wrong. Okay. So you can see this here is a real simple line, but if you're just starting with this stuff, that's a tough line. You know. So learning Visual Basic for applications, it's kind of a tough place to jump in. You know, what I would recommend is first learn some regular Visual Basic. You know, you don't have to learn it all. You know, just learn, get your feet wet with some regular Visual Basic, some real simple applications to see how this stuff works, and then move into Visual Basic for applications. It's kind of the same thing, you know. Visual Basic is Visual Basic. Okay? Visual Basic is Visual Basic. Doesn't really matter if it's Visual Basic or Visual Basic for applications. It's the same stuff. But Visual Basic for applications has stuff like this, you know. Yeah. That's tough stuff. You know, that line is tough, you know. If you were going to go and take some Visual Basic courses, you probably wouldn't see lines like that hard for, you know, probably not till the second course. You know, if you were taking 15-week courses. So, you know, if you're just starting out with code and this is your first day, that's a tough line. Now, if you're an accountant, you're used to looking at tough things, you know, that might be fairly simple. You know. So just to go over this one, we're on sheet 1, right? We're on sheet 1 here. So we're using this guy here, worksheets, to tell Visual Basic, hey, we're on sheet 1. Okay? And then here we're saying do something with cell A1. Do something here. And that's what this guy is here. You know, why they use range, I don't know. That's what they use to stick a number in there. So range. Okay, do something with cell A1. And what do you want to do with it? Give it the value of 100. Okay? They have periods that separate the three things. You know, why they put these in quotes, I don't know. Kind of don't make no sense, you know, but that's just the way it's done. So, okay, and what's odd is there's really no save button. You don't have to save it. If you just close this now, it's saved. You know, you can come up here and save it, but you don't have to. So that's kind of odd. Yeah. See, if I close that and I come back here, it's still there. So now if I click this button here, it puts 100 into that box because of this code that we wrote here. On sheet 1, go to cell A1 and put 100 in it. So that's a tough line. Okay, and I've got one more silly example, and then we'll call her a day for this one here. And it's the same type of deal. So we'll grab a button, draw a button, and it's the same thing here. Do you want to assign a macro that you created, or you want to record one, or you want to create a new one? We're going to say we want to create a new one. Okay, it goes back to the same spot. See, now we have two functions here. This is the first function that we created here. I'm trying to get it all on the screen. And this function was for this button. This function is for this button. Okay, now we have to put some code in there. I'm just spacing this out so it's easier for you to see what's going on. And I've just got a line of code here I want to paste in here. Okay, so now it's saying put up a message box. That's a little pop-up box that pops up on the screen. And here we're going to go out and grab this number and throw it on the message box. So it says on worksheet 1. That's the same line here. Go out on worksheet 1, get the value and get the value in cell A1. Okay, so then if we click this button, it goes out and it gets that number and puts it on the message box. See, there's a lot of code there you didn't have to bother to write. You didn't have to bother to write the code for the message box, you know, the X or the OK button. You know, you can add a lot of things to that code to pretty up that message box. But just with that one small thing, you know, that one small thing gave you a message box. And then we can come up here and change that, and then if we click this now it says 200. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction to Visual Basic for applications. You can see that would be a tough place to start if you've never looked at code. So I just started doing some introductory Visual Basic videos just last week, and I'll put a link down below so you can find that real easy. I think that would probably be the best way to go if you want to get into this type of thing. You know, starting out with Visual Basic for applications right here, that would be tough because you don't understand how a variable is used inside code and how functions are used and some of the more advanced programming concepts that you might bump into down the road. So I think it would be better if you learn some basic Visual Basic. Okay, you don't have to learn all of it, just get a good understanding of what's going on, and then take that and move it into Visual Basic for applications. Okay, so that's all I wanted to do for this first video. We'll do some real basic applications with Visual Basic. Then when we venture off into Visual Basic for applications, we'll pick a book. We won't stick with the book real strict. I always like to throw in other things to try and explain a topic or a concept, but that'll give you something to read, you know, so you pick up all of the details as we move through the stuff. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.